Welcome back, welcome back.
Royalty. Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for those who don't know me, my name is Tiara and thank you for watching. So on March 18th, if you do not know, the Zack Snyder Cut, which is the new highly anticipated DC film, premiered on streaming services. Well, actually premiered on HBO Max yesterday, and it was obviously one of the biggest projects I think of 2021 that everyone was looking forward to besides WandaVision. And this version is the unreleased cut of Justice League. You know, initially a lot of people were let down with the Joss Whedon initial version. Also Zack Snyder worked on the first one as well, but he discontinued part of his project because of you know, his own personal things going on in life. When Joss Whedon's version came out, it was a lot that wasn't connected properly, I feel like, and I think a lot of people had been waiting for a Justice League movie for a long time, and then for it to not be as fulfilling as it was. We definitely wanted a Zack Snyder cut. I mean, there's also some people talking about maybe they wanted people to pay for two of the same movies. You know, it could have been a scheme in that way. But I don't know, I feel like, you know, these were two different directors with different visions. This movie is around 4 hours long, and I get it, 4 hours is a lot, but this is an uncut version, right? This is the full edits. I'm sure that the original project was not going to be 4 hours long, but this includes no post-credit scenes, so not similar to Marvel where you have to wait the extra, you know, 10 minutes after the credits are done to now see what's gonna come next. It was more so of an epilogue that happened with the last 20 minutes of the film. I will say it is worth the watch because a lot of the story now connects properly with this longer duration of a film. And honestly, to me, it didn't feel like it was 4 hours to me. It honestly felt like it was at least 2 hours. But make sure you have yourself a little intermission, get you some snacks, and then carry on with the project. Now, we're just gonna dig into this film. Some of this may be spoilers, some of it may not, but I'm just going off of, you know, my highlights of the film and what stood out to me. If you already saw Justice League, then not much is that different from the original Justice League movie. It's just a little longer because it connects more dots. Let's dig into this, alright? So the intro is starting off where Batman vs. Superman ended. That film left off with Superman actually getting killed, and I believe he was being killed by Doomsday. And this is a much different intro, or like a darker intro for the Justice League film, because if you remember in Joss Whedon's version, it started off with that memorable CGI video of a little kid running up to Superman and recording him. But what had made this so memorable was because everybody recognized Superman's CGI of his lips. And this was because, if you didn't know, Henry Cavill during this time was also filming Mission Impossible, and he had a full mustache. Nobody did not talk about that. and I'm happy that it actually went this route, because you remember why the state of the world was in such a state of, you know, of sadness and everything, because Superman's death definitely is an impactful event. Within his death, this alerted many of the villains, including Darkseid, who wanted to get these mother boxes, which are like entities of infamous power, and he wants to get these mother boxes, who are now all in different regions of the universe. And because this Kryptonian is dead, Darkseid now feels safer to come to Earth, even though he didn't say he was scared, but we all know he was scared of Superman. What's funny too is, I hate comparing Marvel and DC, but the mother boxes definitely are very similar to Infinity Stones, and I just don't know if maybe Marvel had gotten that idea from DC. It's really interesting to dissect that, because these are it's these objects that are filled with this, you know, powerful energy that created mankind or anything like that nature. So it's just a really interesting comparison. Some highlights for me. So we have Steppenwolf. From what we had saw in the trailer, we could tell that his design was much more vibrant than Joss Whedon's. Now, this isn't a Joss Whedon's Justice League bash video. I'm not going to do that, but I'm just going to state the obvious differences that we saw, because we did see this film already, you know. But with Steppenwolf in this version, his suit is way more vibrant. he has, it almost looks like nanotechnology type of armor where it moves when he shifts in a different direction. It's really interesting. And then when it turns to him, like when it pans to Steppenwolf in certain angles, you see like little hints of like purple in his suit, and it's just like the littlest design, but it really, to me, made him look more powerful, if that makes sense. Great CGI. Other than, this is a spoiler, but Martian Manhunter is in this film, and he, if you don't know, is the general from the Man of Steel film, and the one that was trying to take over or capture Superman, and he is the Martian Manhunter. And we realize this because first makes his appearance as Martha, disguised as Martha, who is Superman's mother, and goes to visit Lois and, you know, give her more encouraging messages about like her having to stay strong and everything, because she was depressed about Superman's death. Of course, he had to do it this way because it would be weird if he showed up as the general that tried to capture Superman. But I say all this to say that his CGI as Martian Manhunter, to me, I don't know if this wasn't finished or what, but he just did not look believable. Like, I just think he looked almost like Supergirls from CW series. He looked like that Martian Manhunter, and I was like, okay, that's a okay Martian Manhunter. Like, it's not bad CGI because this is a TV show, but for the actual film, I think they should have really made him look more realistic. Like, he just looked very animated, and it almost looked like he wasn't real. And in this movie, in this world, you're trying to make me believe that he is a real being, and I just wasn't getting that. It was giving me very much of like CW vibes. Another highlight for me was definitely getting to see all the heroes' backstories. So you start to definitely feel a bit more connected with each of the characters, so that it makes it definitely a more fulfilling moment when the team does group all together. We learn more about Steppenwolf, his backstory. We learn that he's trying to rectify his situation with Darkseid and make amends with him, because apparently Darkseid finds that he betrayed him in some sense, and I really think it was because he wasn't at the first battle when Darkseid tried to conquer the Earth, and he was absent. So now Steppenwolf is like on this quest for redemption and to gain Darkseid's trust again, getting the mother boxes back. It's like a child like begging for his father's affection. This is just a probably unnecessary to even mention, but what had always bugged me about the first Justice League is because when Superman is resurrected, it was this police officer next to like the statue area, you know, where the big battle between the Justice League and Superman occurs. It was this one police officer there, and I could never understand why he was there to try and fight Superman. Well, he didn't try to fight, but he was just out there randomly. But this is actually explained in this movie because Lois had always come to visit that broken statue of Superman, and she would bring a coffee to that cop every day. So just that little bit of detail just made the situation more clarified. And also, another random fact or another random point is that Russian family from the first Justice League, which everybody was very confused about. Why is this one family in this like abandoned town, and you know, they're in the way of the Justice League trying to stop all the parademons and Steppenwolf, and this Russian family is not in this one, and I think that was a great choice. The final battle was actually in an abandoned town, much like Chernobyl, where it was abandoned due to a nuclear explosion, so it was full of radiation, and Steppenwolf had his base camp there because the machine that they were using was using all this radiation to be powered, right? And that just made so much more sense to me. And then also with the Justice League, you know, causing all this destruction in this final battle, it just made it a little bit more easier because, you know, they weren't destroying like actual homes people were living in and all these buildings. That's why I think all final battles should be. It should be in like an abandoned area. This way you don't have all these enemies coming after you angry, because that was the whole thing in Batman versus Superman. It was a guy angry because he lost his like legs or I think he lost his legs, and he was just blaming Batman and Superman, or he was blaming Superman for you know, losing his family or anything like that. So that's where I recommend superheroes fighting for, you know, all movies, just abandoned areas. Let's dive into the Justice League itself, right? So Wonder Woman, I think, was shown way more powerful in this film than the previous ones, even than Wonder Woman 1984, which I thought she did look very powerful in there, but again, towards the end of that film, she started being depowered again. Going back to the scene where the men are trying to go back to the Dark Ages and blow everybody up, I mean, Wonder Woman was just throwing these men left and right like rag dolls, and it's just still this weird discrepancy because it's like she's not flying in this film, and I don't think she had the abilities to fly. But then when, I don't know why in 1984 they would have her flying, and that was supposed to be a prequel. Now it's just weird because we don't know what she understands as her powers, right? Because it's that weird discrepancy that isn't connected in the film. I think they really need to stick with what she can do, what she can't do, because I think it's just going to really confuse the viewers in future projects, including Wonder Woman. Also, oh, this was a pet peeve of mine for this film. I did not care for her theme music. I think in this one it was very much of like, and I love Prince of Egypt, but it was very much of like The Mummy, Prince of Egypt, Deliver Us. Like, it was like, oh. And like, I get the aesthetic, I get the theme that they were trying to do because she's this goddess-like creature, but it was just unnecessary. I feel like in like some really, it made it almost laughable. I think her original Wonder Woman music just made it a little bit more of like amp music for the crowd and for her in general, because it just made her look a little bit more powerful than just like this, I don't know, like dainty goddess. We also get a glimpse of Barry, and if you don't know, Barry is the Flash, so we get a sense of Barry and Iris, and he saves her from a car crash where she was really gonna like be splattered on pavement. I love the little details in the scene, from him burning out of his shoes from obviously running too fast, and it almost seemed as if he was moving like he was floating in space, and I really like that detail. Batman also confirms this when mentioning his suit is built with like material that astronauts use to not burn up when entering the Earth's atmosphere, and I thought that was really interesting. That he doesn't look as goofy running as I felt that he did in the original version. I felt that he was always fumbling, and yes, he fumbles as well in this film, but he looked a little bit like he had more control of his running in this one. Next, we have Cyborg. I would definitely say Cyborg's abilities were shown to be way more advanced in this film. He was able to grow extra metal arms out of his back. It was almost giving me a little bit of like Spider-Man from Infinity War. I did enjoy the stylistic choice of how we see him view being inside of a computer system, or literally being in the digital world. I thought that was a great choice on Snyder's part, because I felt like I was walking with him through this digital space and able to experience the knowledge that he constantly gains, and the way he can control any device that's a machine or technological device was so cool to me. I loved it so much. Going down to Superman's resurrection. So we all know the infamous battle between the Justice League and Superman, but this one was a little bit different. The Flash kind of like dodged his punch, but this time Superman was going like straight going at the Flash. Like, I don't know what Flash did to him in previous life, but Superman was ready to kill Flash. He was dodging them punches as much as he could. Also, this time I could see him really hating Batman, like shot lasers at him twice, and I just love that Batman was prepared for this just in case. So he has these like arm bracelets on where he's able to deflect Superman's laser beams as much as possible. When Flash tried to come after him a second time, Superman just moves to the side and Flash clashes with Aquaman, and I just thought that was a cute little joke at the end, because Aquaman just points at him with like annoyance, like it's your fault. Even when fighting Steppenwolf, this is the first time I feel like Superman wasn't depowered. He stopped Steppenwolf's electric axe. Yes, this time Steppenwolf has an electric axe with his shoulder and just blows on it with his ice cool breath and breaks it. And I was just like, okay, like this is why they need a Kryptonian. and he even tears off one of his horns. Towards the final battle as well, we see Flash go into the Speed Force to turn back time. It's about time we saw, you know, Flash actually being as powerful as he can. We see him going through the Speed Force to go back in time because they did end up getting destroyed by the mother boxes actually synchronizing and becoming one box. And he runs back in time to just go back a few minutes so that they can't stop Darkseid from coming to Earth. So as I mentioned, the last 20 minutes of the film is called an epilogue, and after stopping Steppenwolf from bringing Darkseid and his army from the planet Apokolips, the heroes seem to have a happy ending, which we all want for them. But it cuts to Arkham Asylum, the infamous Arkham Asylum, where Lex Luthor has escaped from prison and he's on his yacht. Now this is a different scene from Joss Whedon's version, but still the same character. So Deathstroke still approaches, and instead of Lex saying that he wants to start his own league, which we know would have been the Injustice League, he actually tells Deathstroke Batman's secret identity and says that Bruce Wayne is Batman. And we now figure out that Deathstroke wants to kill Batman because Batman took his eye. And I'm guessing this was from a storyline from a canceled project, because I know Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman was supposed to have his own film, but they canceled that project. So this is obviously going off of their own battle, which I'm assuming that Deathstroke would have been the main villain in that project. Let's just be knowing everybody's secret. So he's just out here just like full of knowledge. Scene 2, which is a trip to the post-apocalypse. And this scene jumps to the post-apocalyptic world we know of too well from Bruce's vision, or premonition as he calls it. And this is a dark future where Snyder had teased in Batman vs Superman, but Darkseid forces had taken over Earth, leaving Batman, Cyborg, Mera, Deathstroke, but with a mohawk, Flash, and Joker to have formed an alliance. And Batman really doesn't like Joker. We haven't really seen much of them in scenes together. This was actually the first scene that we see of Joker and Batman interacting. I read in an article that Snyder really wanted this to happen. This was the only scene filmed that wasn't already pre-filmed. He wanted this to actually be a part of the project because it's always this run around with Batman and Joker, but they never actually interact, and he wanted this to definitely be a staple piece in his film. Batman really doesn't like Joker, but that's because Joker just keeps poking the bear, saying that Batman has lost everyone from his parents to Robin, but states, "You need me to help you undo this world you created by letting her die. Poor Lois, how she suffered so." It's shifting all this blame on Batman. Joker also talks about the alternate timelines, right? So he tells Batman he should have just killed himself, and gives him a Joker card, which symbolizes a truce between the two, and that if Batman doesn't want to be friends with him, to just rip that card and they'll go back to being enemies. So Batman gets under Joker's skin as well, mentioning how he held Harley Quinn in his arms as she was dying, and her last words was for the Batman to give Joker a slow death. Talk about petty. Everything ends up actually getting interrupted by Superman, and he of course makes a powerful entrance, scaring everybody, and he has just his glowing red eyes, of course, very much of like Brightburn. I did think it was weird that in this post-apocalyptic world he would be wearing his blue and red suit. And I say this because when he was resurrected and then fighting Steppenwolf in the film, throughout the actual film, he was in a black Superman suit. So I didn't like this choice, just because towards the end when they're all standing in like their Justice League pose, you have Batman and Superman standing next to each other all in black, and I was just like, are you competing with Batman? Like, it needs to be distinct, because now it just felt like they were wearing the same outfit. I don't know, it was very awkward looking, and that they don't have their own individual looks. So Bruce awakens from his nightmare. This was actually a nightmare that Bruce was having, and at this time he's approached by Martian Manhunter, and Martian mentions that Darkseid will be back, and that he was looking for the anti-life equation, which is this mathematical equation that will help him dominate all of life, and offers to join the fight and wants to join Justice League. So I guess that's going to be in the next film happening, where Martian Manhunter would be more of a prevalent character, which I'm excited to see. And I love seeing the alternate reality. Right before the boxes synchronize, Cyborg also gets a vision, and he sees a dead Wonder Woman, dead Aquaman, where he was stabbed and killed. You have Superman holding up a burnt Lois Lane, who we can assume is Lois Lane. It was just a burnt body, but who else could he be holding? Which I believe she was also pregnant, because it's another scene in the film where she's getting her badge and she's fumbling through her drawer, and then we see a pregnancy test. And we all know from the comics that the reason why Superman actually went rogue and went crazy was because Joker had killed Lois. And in the event of killing her, she was also pregnant. So he killed Superman's baby as well. And that was just like the tip of the iceberg for Superman to go crazy. I don't know, maybe she is pregnant, who knows? Yeah, I hope the continuity can continue. I love that everything just made more sense. That's one thing, I was just so confused from the actual Justice League film. Well, Joss Whedon's version, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it just didn't have any dots connecting properly. But I'm definitely ready for DC to explore other characters. I mean, there's only so many, you know, Batman films you could do, Superman films you could do, Wonder Woman origins. Like, I'm just ready for them to explore all of DC's characters, because they do that through their CW series or DC series, which is movie-esque quality as well. But I'm just ready for, you know, Vixen to appear, Hot Girl. Like, I know Black Adam is supposed to come out soon, so I'm just excited to see where they're taking us, and I'm all here for the ride. So let me know what you think about the film, if you've seen it, or if you haven't, how does it sound to you? Are you planning on watching it? I know 4 hours, it seems long to people, but trust me, just take a little intermission and you should be fine. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button for more content, follow me on my social media, and as always, make sure to have a blessed day. Alright, bye!